Joe in the middle.
Ty, we know that Kevin is still in the protocol, but now that we're almost 24 hours away from Game 1, do you think he will play tomorrow?
I hope so. I'm still not sure. He's going to go through some things today and see how he feels, but he is in the protocol still, so we'll see how he feels.
And we've been talking about this for years, ever since Cavs and Warriors started, about how this is a tough fit for him series-wise. Is there any scenario where you would consider, even if he were healthy, bringing Kevin off the bench just because of the defensive matchups that you need?
No.
Melissa, back left.
Melissa Rowland, Bay Area News Group. Steve talked to us a little bit about how during your leave of absence he reached out to you and talked a little bit about what he had gone through. What did that mean to you, and do you remember what he said to you?
It meant a lot. A lot of the coaches, reached out. A lot of the NBA family reached out. And, just hearing from Steve and, he's been through something similar. It was great to hear him and talk to him and pick his brain about, different circumstances. So he was great. I appreciate all the support he gave me, along with all the rest of the NBA family. And, I really don't want to share, much what he talked about, but he was just very supportive. Just told me to, get myself healthy and let's make another strong run at it. And so here we are again.
Coach Reed Forgrave with CBS Sports. I'm curious if your team looks at things like Vegas odds, things like this almost narrative of certainty that the media has taken with the Warriors. Is that something you guys talk about, and is that something that is almost insulting to what you guys have done to get here?
I mean, we see it, but we're focused on ourselves. And, I don't think we need that as motivation. I think when you get to the NBA Finals and you prepare and you scrap and claw all season to get to this point, there's no added motivation, just except for being in the NBA Finals and trying to win a championship.
Jason in the middle.
We've talked about the Browns' ability to play heavy minutes all year, but now that you got a couple days to reflect, what do you think about the fact that you were able to play him all 48 minutes, and he was effective the entire game? He never ran out of gas. He was as good as you needed him in the fourth quarter as he was in the first. There's not many guys on the planet who could do that. What kind of luxury is that you've got a guy that you can do that with?
I mean, it's a big luxury, and that's why he's conditions himself and probably one of the top conditioned athletes in the world. And when he's playing those amount of minutes throughout the course of the regular season, that gets him ready for the playoffs. And I think at times when teams are trying to match him, his matchup, they're not used to playing those many minutes, especially in the playoffs where everything is high intensity.
Given all of that and the fact that you had 3 days between Game 7 and Game 1, and you're going to have 2 days between 1 and 2, can you do it again?
No, I mean, we just got to just judge it and just watch the flow of the game, see how he is. And I think, being in the NBA Finals, a lot of his, if he's tired early, it just could be a lot of emotion and I'm going into the game. So we just got to gauge it out and see how he feels, but I'm definitely not early, no.
Ty, James Ham, NBC Sports, Bay Area. With all the roster turnover this year for you guys, how is this season different than the last 3 championships, the last finals that you've been to?
Well, I think every season is different. Every season you acquire new guys and different guys in the rotation. You make trades. So, we have a different team, but our main focus the whole year was just to, by the time we get to the playoffs, playing our best basketball. And I think the biggest step we've taken is just defensively. I think defensively throughout the course of these playoffs, we've really gotten better. So we got to hang our hats on that and then see what happens.
Dave on the aisle on the left.
Dave McMenamin, ESPN. Ty, some of the conversations that you would have with Cavs folks the last couple of years was you struggled early on in the series against the Warriors in the finals because of those long layoffs, and it was taking a time to get adjusted to the speed that they play with or whatever. Do you feel like the shorter layoff could help you here?
I think so. I think, playing Boston in Game 7 in a hostile environment, similar to this environment here, could help us. I think, the last couple of years we've been having 8-9 days off and coming to a series where they play at a high speed. They move the basketball, they move bodies. So I think, going to Game 7, could help us out.
And follow up, you said on the conference call that you would still look to play with pace and find the right opportunities. Is there anything to be learned from looking back at the game plan in 2015, where you guys played physical, tough defense, kind of flowed everything through LeBron on offense, and made it a series? Could that be a similar game plan that you could look to in this series?
That could work, but I think we have to take our opportunities. I think if we're getting steals and, we rebound the basketball, we push and play with pace, we want to take our, first initial good shot. But we can't take bad shots. We can't turn the ball over against this team because we know they're dynamic in transition. So, we got to pick and choose our spots. We still want to play our game, but we got to be smart about it.
Steve on the right.
Steve Ashburner, NBA.com. Ty, when you game plan in this league, you and other coaches, how much do you focus on when the opponent's starters or more so stars are going to be out of the game and what you want to accomplish during those moments? And if you do some of that, the fact that LeBron has to be gone a minimal amount of time, is that a disadvantage to your opponents that they can't just wait for when he sits?
When he's playing a lot of minutes, it makes it tough. But, I think when you game plan, you just try to take away what the team does best. And if you do that and make them play to a second option or something they're not comfortable doing, then you pretty much done your job. And if they beat you in doing that, then you tip your hats and say, congratulations. But I don't think you can let a team, do what they've done best all season and let them come in and beat you the same way.
Tim, back left.
Tim Reynolds with the Associated Press. Ty, we know that LeBron's primary motivation why he still does this is championships, obviously. The fact that there is such a narrative out there that you guys are massive underdogs in this series, fairly or unfairly, can that help you in some respects? Because he's going to hear that, and can that be something that gets him to raise his game even a little bit more than that level that he's been at for you guys in this playoff run?
I don't think being underdogs adds that much motivation, especially when you're in the NBA Finals. I think when you work so hard and, the stance that LeBron took this year, playing all 82 games, when he could have very easily set out, when things got hard. But he wanted to lead by example for these new guys who came in for our team, playing all 82 games and playing at a high level. So when you make it here to the finals, I don't see any extra added motivation. I think getting here and being the last two teams standing is enough motivation alone.
Last two on the right, and then Mark in the center.
Ty Dieter Kurtenbach, Bay Area News Group. The Warriors have made a habit this year of going on runs in the third quarter in particular. Have you ever seen a team where it's kind of done this rope-a-dope style and played loose in the first half and then come out in the third? And how do you combat that as a coach?
Well, considering this year we've been pretty bad in the third quarters, we got to really be aware of what they do in the third quarter. And the biggest thing is they really amp their defense up. I think they get stops, they get out in transition, they get threes and easy baskets. So we got to just do a good job of taking care of the basketball, owning our space in that third quarter, and I think we'll be fine.
Hi, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Saturday Night Live did a skit showing that LeBron plays with 11 guys who don't contribute at all. Obviously, they were dramatizing the situation. But when your other guys see that kind of disrespect and hear that kind of insulting narrative, do you think that they take that to heart? Do they feel that too?
You have to ask them. But, we know it's not true. Throughout the whole course of the playoffs, we had guys step up. George Hill in Game 7 in the Indiana series, JR in Game 2 of the Indiana series defensively. I think Toronto series, you had Kevin Love, who was great and big, George Hill as well as Kyle Korver. In this last series against Boston, we had George Hill and JR and those guys step up and play well at home. So, they write all kind of narratives, but I think our guys have done a good job of just having different guys step up at the right moment to solidify wins for us. So I don't really read into that.
Did you see it? Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
It's on YouTube. You can probably.
No, I don't watch.